But did you know that Africa is the place where the body of the first man was found? My daddy says that makes it the place where all people originated from.
I'm from Africa. You from Africa. You African booty scratcher. I'm
always reaching. We make niggas disappear like that triangle out Bermuda. They can't find his body, but they know that I'm the shooter. I say cut my sentence in half, and I spread a little rumor. Them, well, you can look in Oklahoma if you want to find them Sooners.
Send some little funky shit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Check it out. Yeah. I'm coming straight from the 5, nigga. A young nigga that rolled up. My attendance is present, meaning the fuck that I showed up. Strapped with a 44 niggas, know I got mine. Stretch with a gauge, probably beat with a Tech 9. Not too long ago, Kraft tried to test us. Talking that dope shit, trying to get the best of us, but we're not having it. Not taking it bullshit, cause you'll get a 44 bullet on this shit slit. It's not the first time, won't be the last time. Niggas are long mine, cause I'm from the 5 line. I'm gonna roll, cause nigga, it's my time. Peace to the homie from the bow and the deuce line. So motherfuckers give me my props, and if you don't, my knives going pop, pop. Leaving suckers flat back on their ass, G. And in hell's where I'm living if you ask me. I give a fuck, my nigga, about dissing them. Cause already I'm a product of the system.
Making it back, being bull, yeah, that's what my homies say. Rolling down off the boulevard, finna bust a CK. That's a U-turn, now we on Bradfield. Hope you ain't a crab that wants to get his cat peeled. Bloody Mary, as you know, is a blood lover. Cause grip gangs too busy killing up each other. Throwing up the PCK, about to bail. Water snakes giving up this crappy ass smell. Really? Silly? Buster, no joking. Play with power and get your fucking jaw broken. Pump your brakes, fool. True flu ain't happening. Look at a true root sporting a bull's jacket. Bloody Mary's on the mic and I'm flamed up. Red rum murdered you before you came up. When you beat me in red, hollering what's up, blood? Don't even trip or slip. Don't grip for rules, I got love.
Hey, stretch, blood. Why don't you go help me put in some work on these crab ass niggas over there in Harlem?
Hey, fuck them niggas. What about them Kelly Park ass niggas?
Oh, yeah.
We get them they punk ass too. Yeah, hey, baby, check this out. You roll. I'm serve the motherfuckers.
Check this out, Kiki Loco. Man, you a joke, so let me laugh. You sounding like a bitch with your non-rapping ass. I saw you wearing your dirty coat to match your dirty hood. And fuck the filthy fat fool claiming Linwood. Yeah, Greedy G, you sounding like a vocal wearing geek. You sorry mumble mouth motherfucker off me. Let me say I red shot like cops is wrecking niggas up. I'm wrecking your girl, the pussy's good, but she's a fat slut. Yup, it's all up in Harlem, like you said. Yeah, the brims and the 20s leaving niggas dead. Sporting the red, Becky's red, belt and burgundy chucks. And if I catch you slipping in my hood, wearing blue, you're getting fucked up by your true root nigga named CK. Drinking back, drinking root every single weekday. And I can't stand drinkers cause they're scary. They could take a hairy dick and lick Bloody Mary.
The penalty for killing, I'll pay the cost. I'ma ride CK till the wheels fall off. You hard time busters, what the fuck are you worth? Niggas comb your nappy heads while I zip my sweatshirt. I got 9 hoes and 8 straps on my sacks. I play the cheese toast, bubble gum in my backpack. Ain't no way out when the casket's closed. You're getting rolled on by the Chris I'm all yosos. I hate peanut butter cause it's sticking you deep. Ripping shotguns in half cause I got big beat. Keep running it, ducking it, hide from the foe. Thunder, thunder, thundercats hold when I catch you slipping. Here's your reminder. Wear rags is a CK ride.
Damn, no fools got slurred.
We serve the motherfucker. They can't fuck with us. I know I gotta leave. You a trap of the motherfuckers. Avenue Pine, East Side, motherfucking money on the widows, case of blood. After this motherfucking pork, Mel Loco, Big Whack, my motherfucking nigga Jug here. My motherfucking homeboy, Big D from East Side. Motherfucking L, Buddy, motherfucking Low. Yeah, we in this motherfucking G-Round. Spook Dog, my nigga Nut, all you gay ass niggas. My homeboy Rampage, my homeboy Little motherfucking Pop, still motherfucking
What it do, what it do, what it do, what it do. Back for another classic in the book of the Strictly Ghetto Engine. And this chapter right here is the Black Indians keep being told they were brought to America. Why? Hope you pulled up and rolled up. I'm so glad that you showed up to comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and do it again. Now I'm back in the same area as I was the other day, within this Carolina area. I'm staying on this Sir Francis Drake head. Pause. But I'm going to shed a little bit more light on it. But first, I want to, I definitely want to give a shout out to my Aunt Joycey that just passed today, man. Long live my Aunt Joycey, man. That's my grandpa's older sister. She was the oldest Abraham living. And she just passed today, man. So I definitely want to give my respects to my Aunt Joycey, my great Aunt Joycey. Man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy she gone with the ancestors. And it was good that I was able to go with her and go talk to her, because I ain't seen her and talked to her in a while, in some years. And I was able to stop through there by on Mother's Day. I stopped through there and seen my Aunt Joycey, talk to her, and just got a chance to talk to her. But yeah, long live my Aunt Joycey, that's for sure. We're gonna keep this going, so I want to shed a little bit of light on being recognized as Indians in this whole little fight of having our recognition, our birthrights to this land. And just kind of want to show you about some other Indians. It's kind of what they going through, and it seemed like that they was going through the same thing that the Freedmen was going through with the Creeks and the Cherokees, and also with us, the Seminoles. We kind of got halfway citizenship, not fully, but we kind of get recognized slightly. But as you know, with the Creeks and the Cherokees, they recognize fully they recognize as Indians. It really ain't going off race or nothing like that. It's just going off the lineage, and they going from the Dawes Roads. But just this whole fight of kind of getting here, and as far as with other Black people within Americas that feel, or that that know that they really ain't got no connection to Africa, or they kind of feel that way. And they ain't got no facts to kind of putting it back. I mean, they ain't got no facts that can prove that they from Africa, and they family been told, that they come from the Indian type of pass down. This can kind of be a way where you can probably get recognized, or just a way to kind of keep fighting towards that fight of recognition. So, man, I want to play this real quick. There's going to be a couple of clips. So this right here is about a certain tribe within the Choctaws, and about how they was trying. I guess they still trying to get recognition. You know what I'm saying? Recognition, and they saying that they been here. But one thing that I thought that was kind of interesting about this little get down was when the government was asking them about, as far as their historical documents and stuff like that. I guess most of the documents were saying how they was either Negro, mulatto, Black, Cajun, Caucasian, Spanish, and a lot of other things except just for Indian. But they saying that they been here since Day one. So we're gonna take a look at this and kind of see how the government kind of been playing with them as far as the criterias and certain little stuff like that. Let me go and see what's going on with this real quick. I get to it. Make sure that you're pulled up and rolled up.
There is a centuries-long fight against the U.S. government that you probably don't know about. Hollywood portrayals and long-held stereotypes might have taught you that this is how Indigenous peoples live, or even that their form of government has something to do with an Indian princess. The truth is, Native American tribes have strong, effective, and unique tribal governments that contend with modern problems. One of the toughest modern problems some tribes face today is the fight for federal recognition. The federal government has been sued, marches have been organized, and petitions have been signed over 100,000 times. Why? Because many tribes are being denied this recognition. Federal recognition is a political status where the U.S. government recognizes a native tribe as a sovereign nation, essentially a separate legal entity similar to a state or country. This government-to-government relationship is rooted in a long history of treaties, legislation, executive orders, and the U.S. Constitution. Recognition refers to how other governments view a nation, not how a nation views itself or how it acts. Neither federal nor state governments grant sovereignty to Indigenous peoples. Why does federal recognition matter, and why is it so difficult to attain?
My name is Tristan Harper, and I'm from McIntosh, Alabama.
The Moa Band of Choctaw Indians received national attention in 2024 when tribal member Tristan Harper became the 5th runner-up on American Idol.
I reckon I might play it for y'all if y'all say hope one time. Can I hear hope? Let me say it again. Can I hear hope? I reckon I'll play it for y'all.
Harper may have won the hearts of thousands across America, but the Moa Choctaw are one of the many non-federally recognized tribes. So far, they fought for recognition using all three.
Now, I thought that was definitely kind of interesting that that's wicked, that they not recognized. And you would think that they'll be recognized just off the look. You know, I used to think like that a long time ago. Like, all right, well, shit, them niggas look like them niggas. How them niggas ain't, you know what I'm saying? But them niggas saying, nah, you ain't no Indian tribe.
Formal routes, petition, litigation, and congressional bill, and have been non-federally recognized tribes. So far, they fought for recognition using all three formal routes, petition, litigation, and congressional bill, and have been unsuccessful each time.
We've been here a long time. You know, now it's time for people to realize that we're here. Just give us the recognition.
Now, you know what I'm saying, man, I ain't no racist or nothing like that, but you know, dude look like a white man to me, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I don't know if that's the reason. You know, I could be racist. That could be the same thing as, you know what I'm saying, as far as like the black Indians and stuff like that. They're saying, well, shit, you don't look like no Indian, woo, 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 woo. But my thing is, black people was found over here. You know what I'm saying? Black people was found over here by these folks. So, you know what I'm saying? I'll make a difference out of that, but we're going to keep it going.
That we deserve.
Each time.
We've been here a long time. You know, now it's time for people to realize that we're here. Just give us the recognition that we deserve. We want the recognition as an Indian tribe. We're Choctaw Indians, and our name is Moa Choctaw.
There are hundreds of non-federally recognized tribes.
And, you know, there's a lot of black people out here saying the same thing. And we got other black people that's, you know, discouraging in them and also hating on them and you know, basically, you know, telling them that they not Indians, that they not from here, and just going with the narrative. And we going against that over here for sure. What's up, Sharice, the realest, one of the illest, what it do?
Tribes in the U.S. today. Tribal governments have the right to self-govern, which means they're responsible for the health, safety, and welfare of their members like a state or country, and they have the freedom to determine how to do that. this can look different for each tribe. Recognition provides more opportunities for tribal governments to exercise their sovereign rights and access funding for healthcare, childcare, and elder care. It also allows access to grants for education, housing, broadband access, economic development, and more. Access that would have a huge impact on tribal communities. The Bureau of Indian Affairs, or BIA, created a formal recognition process in 1978. Before then, tribes gained federal recognition through treaties, acts of Congress, presidential executive orders, or other federal administrative actions. Since then, less than 50 applications for...
Hold on, let me bring that back on how they was be able to get through. Hold on. It's the gateway.
Huge impact on tribal communities. The Bureau of Indian Affairs, or BIA, created a formal recognition process in 1978. Before then, tribes gained federal recognition through treaties, acts of Congress, presidential executive orders, or other federal administrative actions. Since then, less than 50 applications for federal recognition have been approved. If that sounds like a small number, that's because it is. And some non-federally recognized tribes have been seeking recognition for decades.
Recognition or BIA funding would open up a whole new avenue for us.
And just like I say, man, I ain't no racist, but, you know, dude look like a white person to me, and he's saying he an Indian. And I really don't see no people making no videos going at these people, talking shit about them and doing nothing like that. But when black people do it, niggas is getting shitted on.
Have been seeking recognition for decades.
Recognition or BIA funding would open up a whole new avenue for us. It would be so beneficial for my people to be able to have, instead of a small clinic over there that can do for a few people, is to have a full staff here that can, someone is having a heart attack or they have a place to go. But federal recognition would also open the doors to self-sufficiency, us to be able to compete in other areas that other tribes have access to that we don't, that we're denied. You're not federally recognized. You can't apply for this grant.
But the reality of pursuing that recognition is grueling. Thousands of volunteer hours, years, or even decades of research, thousands of pages of documentation proving your indigenous ancestry, and more money than most tribes have to spare. After 10 years of writing, petitioning, and researching with the help of university professors, the Moa Choctaw sent a letter of intent to the BIA in 1983 and were denied in 1997. The Bureau of Indian...
It took them 14 years, 1983, 14 years. Crazy.
Were denied in 1997. The Bureau of Indian Affairs cited this section of the criteria as the problem: must descend from a historical Indian tribe. The BIA required documentation to prove the tribe's existence from as early as possible, which would sometimes date back to 1789 or the first time of sustained contact. After reviewing the documents, oral histories, and research the Moa Choctaw provided, the BIA researchers determined the oral histories could not be supported by primary documentation. The BIA concluded that the two core families the tribe claimed to descend from had not been documented as American Indian.
They was documented as Black, Cajun, Caucasian, Creole, French, mulatto, Spanish, or white. And I just find it very interesting that they wasn't documented as Indian, but they saying that they been there forever. They part of the Choctaws. They in that land, and they got documentation going back, but they were still denied because they didn't have the Indian term on there. So we definitely see that it been a lot of prejudice, and it been a lot of, I don't know who up there is doing the scaling and, you know, and saying who get to go through and who not going through, but it's definitely some crazy shit going on. What's up, Ed Berry, blowing on the cherry. You got Bucky Wingo. He never been seen go, what it do. Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, just like I say, I just find it definitely interesting that black people was found over here, all type of shades of brown, but if they didn't get the Indian stamped, then it was like they really ain't from over here. They really came from somewhere else. But they saying that they not from somewhere else. But we're gonna keep listening though.
And that only supported by primary documentation. The BIA concluded that the two core families the tribe claimed to descend from had not been documented as American Indian, and that only 1% of the Moa Choctaw members have documented American Indian ancestry, with this ancestry coming through lines other than the two core families. Former Moa Choctaw Chief Wilford Longhair Taylor responded.
That criterion alone is particularly unfair when it's based solely on the records of white men. Applying the single criterion puts an undue burden of proof on a people whose most important genealogical source is oral history. Our history is not written on paper, it's written in stone. The gravestones of our cemeteries from 1814 to 1996 memorializing our history.
Man, and black people going back before that connected to some Indians or just connected to the lands and living like the people on the lands, just getting down like that. And yeah, that's crazy. But I thought, just like I said, I was kind of in the mindset, if they look like it, well, shit, them niggas is automatically in there. But they telling us like, nah, they denying them from the look. They ain't even going off lookership. They just going off documentation. But if the documentation didn't say Indian, you know what I'm saying? I guess you ain't an Indian. But let's keep on listening because they done changed up the game and the criteria.
We just knew who our people were. We
It's written in stone. The gravestone is particular.
Moa Choctaw Chief Wilford Longhair Taylor responded.
That criterion alone is particularly unfair when it's based solely on the records of white men. Applying the single criterion puts an undue burden of proof on a people whose most important genealogical source is oral history. Our history is not written on paper, it's written in stone. The gravestones of our cemeteries from 1814 to 1996 memorializing our history.
We just knew who our people were. We buried them. I could take you to the cemetery where my great-grandfather was born in 1815. And I can take you where they lived. I can take you where they were buried. I can tell you who they married. I can tell you every one of their children. I can tell you their children's children, their children, all the way down to me. So we know who we are.
Non-recognized tribes are all unique with their own oral histories and genealogy, which makes meeting most of the 7 points of criteria for the federal acknowledgement process extremely challenging. Not only is it difficult to meet the criteria, some completed petitions may take up to 15 years to be processed due to a lack of resources. Critics of the recognition process say it's a complicated, one-size-fits-none approach that boils down the diversity of indigenous peoples across the U.S. to legal fictions and cultural stereotypes about Native Americans. Subjectivity is at the bedrock of the process. And even the Government Accountability Office reported that the basis for BIA's tribal recognition decisions is not always clear.
The issue is trying to prove one's Native identity or your legitimacy. That brings up a lot of really deep-seated racist beliefs, about Native Americans as well, whether that's based on our appearance or how we should act or how we should express our culture, etc. So I think that a lot of those beliefs just then end up fueling the public attitudes towards unrecognized tribes.
One reason the Moa Choctaw have struggled to prove their Choctaw ancestry is because in 1830, the tribe defied the Indian Removal Act and stayed on their ancestral land.
We're still in Alabama, and so we're the stayers. We didn't get removed like other Choctaws got removed and sent west to Mississippi to Oklahoma. We haven't left. We're still here. We still honor our same traditions as those who were removed to Oklahoma during the Indian Removal Act.
The 1830 Indian Removal Act forcibly displaced around 60,000 Choctaw, Cherokee, Creek, and other Southeast tribes, resulting in what would later be known as the Trail of Tears. Thousands of adults and children died of disease, malnutrition, or exposure during the 1,200-mile journey on foot.
When the treaty was signed, the Treaty of Dancing Rabbit Creek, some of our leaders signed that treaty. But one thing that it did, it said, Article 14 of that treaty said that we could stay here, not be removed. You know, everybody thinks that, oh, the Trail of Tears, they got every Indian up and took them to Oklahoma. Well, we know that's not true.
The Moa Choctaw's ancestors hid in the swamps and pine barrens of South Alabama, avoiding detection and documentation for decades until their home was discovered by a timber company looking to take advantage of Alabama's pine forests.
We were a functioning little community here amongst ourselves until exposure came for our people. But we have all
bring that picture back
here amongst ourselves.
That look like to y'all, man. Not it, but what them, you know, them folks, they look like some yellows.
Until exposure came for our people. But we have all
this lady. She look like a yellow to me though.
Always maintained our own identity. A lot of people didn't bother to ask.
Her slicked out, but they still got that look like a yellow though. You know what I'm saying? Yellows be having them looks.
Or we didn't tell them because we didn't trust them.
A second reason is that during the first half of the 1900s, Jim Crow segregation dominated racial relations in the South. And not being Black or white, Southeastern Native Americans, like the Moa Choctaw, were left in a racial no man's land. Too afraid of forced removal to self-identify as Indian, but too afraid of Jim Crow laws to identify as Black, many who could pass as white did. And census records of Moa Choctaw descendants during this time don't seem to know how to classify.
So they got it as Negro, and they ain't got it marked as Oriental though. Move that
by them either, listing them as everything from Indian,
black hair, dark complexion. I wonder why would they check them things, you know, for the for the video. But they didn't have Oriental, they had Cajun. They had that check. They're gonna like slash through that though.
And Black to Cajun or white. This discrepancy would later cause issues for the Moa Choctaw during their petition for recognition. But the federal government isn't the only opposition non-federally recognized tribes contend with. Some tribes have contested the recognition of new tribes, questioning the validity of these groups, or expressing concerns that it could reduce federal funding for recognized tribes and increase competition in the gaming industry. In 1979, the Moa Choctaw were the first to be state recognized by the Alabama legislature, which means the state of Alabama has affirmed their identity. They are the Moa Band of Choctaw Indians. The Moa and Moa Choctaw differentiates the tribe geographically from the other Choctaw bands. Their reservation lies south of Washington County and north of Mobile.
Now I find it very interesting that they right there kind of by Pensacola, kind of right there by Fort Negro. And just like how I went over how Fort Negro had the Choctaw, and they had the Black Indian chief. I think his name was Garcon. I think the Choctaw chief and Garcon had got killed over there at the Negro fort. But yeah, that's interesting that they that close.
County. State recognition impacts their lives by allowing them to maintain their tribal identity and cultural practices, which allow them to organize and represent themselves as a distinct community, a requirement for the BIA petition process.
To us, sovereignty puts in a position so that we can do things here on our tribal reservation. We can do things, the land that we own right now. We can build houses for our tribal members, that we can do things just like a local township, a municipality.
State recognition gives the tribe access to state-level grants, cultural preservation programs, and some federal funding through the state, but it's significantly less extensive compared to broader federal programs such as healthcare, education, and economic development opportunities that come with federal recognitions.
This is why they keep trying to keep us from saying that we ain't from here. You know, some of the people. I ain't saying everybody, but some of the people, so that they won't have to be able to give us what our birthright is supposed to be given to us. All this.
Status.
There are tribes out there that are not federally recognized, that have their own distinct, cohesive community, and they function, and they've been functioning well since first European contact. So we've been dealing with outsiders for a long time. And I just think it's time.
In 2022, Alabama Senator Richard Shelby reintroduced a congressional bill to extend federal recognition to the tribe, but it failed to move past committee review. Still, there may be hope for the future. Since 2015, the BIA only requires documentation of Indian ancestry back to 1900 instead of first contact. The BIA has also proposed a conditional, time-limited opportunity for denied tribes like the Moa Choctaw to re-petition for federal recognition with the updated documentation rules. The fight for federal recognition is a little known or talked about story, but its impact.
Engine radio make the girl say, "Oh, hey, you say it's a fake tribe." My man, Engine radio gonna come through. Now I feel you though, cause like I said, I was like, damn, it's like a lot of, you know what I'm saying. I definitely ain't racist at all, but I'm like, I can probably see why they probably, kind of getting the run around and stuff like that. 'Cause like I said, I thought off the look, it should be like, damn, they already in, but it seemed like some of them do look like that. But I don't know. Shout out to Engine Radio.
Thousands of indigenous peoples in America. 80% of the Moa Choctaw community live below the poverty line today. Access to federal grants and the ability to make decisions based on the community's needs would radically change the way their tribal members live. But Native peoples aren't waiting around to be acknowledged. They assert their inherent sovereignty and right to self-governance every day by establishing governments, enforcing tribal laws, preserving their land and cultural practices, taking legal actions to protect their rights, and advocating for their interests.
Our tribal members are getting educated. They're willing to go beyond what people think that they can do. And with Tristan's recognition on American Idol proves that when you put your mind.
Look, cuz look mixed though, you know what I'm saying? He look like he got some black in him though, you know what I'm saying? But he's sporting it. He's sporting his heritage proudly, and I like that. I love that.
To do something, people will recognize who you are from what you do and how you do it. It's not something that someone can say, well, you just did it because someone gave it to you. No, we work for what we have. And we want people to understand that we're not asking for handouts. All we need to do is get that recognition.
When a tribe decides to petition for federal recognition, they know they're signing up for a generation-spanning challenge that could end with their tribe becoming a sovereign power in the eyes of the United States. But for many, it's not all about an outside government recognizing their sovereignty. It's about acknowledging a people's identity. The indigenous experience today is not an antiquated stereotype. For many, the experience has been steeped in this arduous fight for acknowledgement. All that tribes like the Moa Choctaw ask is that their culture, heritage, and self-governance be appropriately evaluated when the U.S. is reviewing their petition.
I'm a Choctaw Indian. I am a member of the Moa band of Choctaw Indians, but we're not going anywhere. And we're going to be here. We're going to fight until the last breath is in my body, my son, my cousins. We're not going anywhere. We know who we are.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to PBS Origins so you don't miss a single episode of In the Margins. Before you go, we wanted to tell you about Weathered Earth's Extremes. If you're familiar with the YouTube series on PBS Terra, you'll be excited to know.
Yeah, man, I want my folks to keep on. Hold on, let me go back to that one spot. Hold on. Just Like that they tripping on. I don't know. Yeah, I want all my folks to, still try to get your recognition. You got to do a petition, litigation, conjure. Kind of keep fighting, man. For real, though. Come with your documents. And as you see now, well, I guess they tried to change it to, all you got to do is show something from the 1900s. But I felt like with that, they should be able to open up the door to if it was to where if people is still related to those people, but they got gaffled up probably due to slavery or probably due to certain type of circumstances where they got where they did where they went different ways or where their family went because of the situation. Yeah, man, just keep on fighting, man. Just keep on digging in there for them records, man. Keep on petitioning. Show though. Just real quick now with this right here. Now I'm still within this you know what I'm saying? I'm still within this Virginia, Carolina Lumbee type situation as far as with the last little video that I showed with some of the some of the people that was talking about that area in the beginning. And I'm still kind of gonna stay here because I see that they was okay. I'm gonna try to see if I can put them in there, but I'm still trying to, because it's like I say, the historians within that area. Now, some historians don't even bring up, don't even bring up the black people getting dropped off by Sir Francis Drake. But I see that the black people is bringing it up. Not saying. We're not trying to make a difference, but I'm just saying who bringing it up as far as when I'm seeing it. Now, and the reason that I'm playing this, because this is an old video going back to 1997, as far as back, as far as talking about like the kind of like that same area, the Lumbee, that Pembroke. I really don't know too much about that area, but I'm tapping in because of the simple fact they saying that Sir Francis Drake, dropped off these people in this area, and these people had integrated with the Lumbees or with the Tuscaroras, or it's the reason why it's black Indians in North Carolina, in the Roanoke area. So we're gonna keep keeping this out, but I see within this, they kind of really didn't bring that up. You know what I'm saying? But they brought up Roanoke, but they didn't bring up Sir Francis Drake. So we're going to check this out. Make sure that you're pulled up and rolled up. I'm so glad that you showed up to comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and do it again. We got Sorta Padre 909 coming through, drinking on that wine. What it do?
I am very proud to be a Lumbean.
I know who I am.
Maybe we are being forgotten.
This is Mother Earth. You can't live without the earth.
We know who we are. We have always known who we are. Space, flowers, fields, the river.
There's no one thing that is true. It is all true.
The river. The white man calls it the Lumber River, but to the Indians, it's the Lumbee, and it defines who they are. They are the people of the dark water. I'm David Crabtree. Dark, murky, mysterious. It describes the river and the people who live along it. But just who are these people? One of the largest tribes in the country, largest east of the Mississippi, and the largest unrecognized tribe. The federal government doesn't fully recognize the Lumbee Indians. Their identity has been blurred, their history questioned. It's a rich history. The Lumbee Indians, who take their name from the river, the people of the dark water.
You can feel it. This is where I need to be. I know who I am.
You're right here now in the Indian Territory. There's a difference here. Don't you think so?
40,000 Lumbee Indians live in Robertson County in the southeastern part of North Carolina. More Indians than any other race.
I know that's hard for you to believe, but that's facts. Now, if I didn't know it, I couldn't tell it. We've come a long ways, baby.
Some Lumbees live in Lumberton, but most live here, Pembroke.
Town of Pembroke is typical small town America. It's just a close-knit community.
Almost 95% of the population is Lumbee.
Those are prevalent names in this area. Locklear, Lowry, Hunt, Oxendine, Dow, Brooks, Cummings, all Lumbees. You know, it's strictly Lumbee over here.
Milton Hunt is the mayor of Pembroke.
Born in town and never lived outside the city limits. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't live here. You know, I thought you were going to ask me about my hazel eyes. So I thought that was ironic. But we are Lumbees and we're proud of it. Let me tell you this story. My great-grandfather, he and a group delivered the first petition to Washington for federal recognition in 1888. The process is simple. We've been at it, 109 years now? How long do we have to wait? You know, why don't we need federal recognition? We need it just like any other tribe does. Yes, we deserve it just like anybody else.
What the Lumbees don't have, the Cherokee Indians do. You can't help but compare them. Both are from North Carolina. Two tribes, one state, worlds apart.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, it's this dope tech from Wix.
We've compromised ourselves many years ago.
Just plain luck.
Cherokee, North Carolina.
Oh, I think it's great. But it's definitely more fun when you win.
The Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians owns this casino.
I think it's great for the Cherokees. Maybe it's some way for them to get some kind of an income.
Income, but at what price? The Cherokees are federally recognized. It's their identity that may be slipping away.
If you break even, you won.
I think we compromised our culture 50 years ago, but it is a means towards economic survival.
Joyce Dugan, Principal Chief of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians.
When you weigh out a life of poverty, for example, against any means that you have at your disposal to make a living, then you choose the latter.
We know who we are. We have always known who we are.
So you're going to be a Lumbee forever.
It's a miracle that there are any Indians left in North Carolina, given what they've been subjected to. It's a miracle.
Lumbees are still fighting for federal recognition. It's a battle they haven't yet won. Critics point out they don't live on a reservation, they have never signed a treaty with the federal government, and they can't prove they are all descendants of the same tribe. In effect, they don't meet certain criteria. But the Lumbees say it's not about criteria at all. It's about perception.
The Western notion of Indians is this one thing. It's this guy on a horse. The problem is the stereotype.
It's home. It's people that look like I look. It's people that talk the way I talk. I know his mama, his daddy. We have a history together that goes all the way back.
Lunchtime at Linda's.
We got doctors, lawyers. We've made it because we were not put on a reservation. And we're like diamonds. God didn't make many of them. And we're the best of the lot, though, right here in Pembroke.
They say the Jewish people is God's chosen people, but I look at us Native Americans the same way. I would rather be a Lumbee than any nationality that I know of.
It's a closeness. It's hard to explain. I think it's more inherent, born into you. You know, I think that maybe that's why.
If I see Raymond in Raleigh, we have an instant bond as being Lumbee and from the same community, and that's sort of a bond that's always there. Have a seat, Mike.
Who are you with, Mike?
I don't know if I go so far as to say if it's genetic, but I think it's inherent in us. Somehow, I don't know.
Got your freedom down there.
We're not where we want to be, but we dang sure ain't where we were either. I wrote Jesse Helms a letter, and one of the phrases I put in there is sad when the first Americans have to ask the second Americans to recognize them as people. I'm sure recognition would have went through. It would have been a done deal had it not been for Jesse Helms. But we survived just the same. So we are progressing. We're doing it as a people.
The federal government says in the 1956 Lumbee Act, yes, we recognize you as Indians, but we're not going to give you anything for it. It is, in effect, recognition and termination in the same breath.
The Lumbees are the largest Indian tribe in the country without full federal recognition. But they have come close, falling just 2 votes shy in 1992 in the U.S. Senate. Jesse Helms was behind that failure, partially because federal recognition means federal funding for things such as education and health care. Senator Helms says adding the Lumbees would simply cost the government too much money. In any case, the Lumbees go on fighting and failing. No, they don't have federal recognition, but many insist they have something far more important, their identity.
When people don't know who they are or where they came from, a whole lot don't matter to them anymore.
Carl Anthony Hunt, an artist painting a picture of Lumbee life.
Yeah, he's a Lumbee. This is a man who I saw, instead of waiting for his government rations to come out every month like they do on the reservation, that he went out and made a way for his family. That's a hero. That's the American dream, you know what I mean? I'm trying to help tear down barriers, all these stereotypes and stuff. We are educated way before any other Indian tribe. All this stuff, hey, we done it. We have never had a problem with identity. It's the powers that be.
Same old phone? Nah. Upgrade to the new Galaxy Z Fold 7.
That try to deny our identity. People recognize, don't recognize, so what? But yet we know who we are. I don't care what nobody says, we've always been here. It is us. I mean, you can't see down in it. It's like you don't know what's under the surface. Kind of like our history.
Such a God who created a place as this needs no lesser cathedral. So leave me here to learning my lessons in solitude, near God, by the Lumbee River, my flowing temple.
Native people have been here all along. Probable links to Hatteras, which is the link to the Lost Colony. The Lost Colony, of course, is supposed to have disappeared in the late 1580s while John White was gone back to England for supplies. When he returns and finds the word Croatoan carved and can't find them, goes back without them, the colony is declared lost. Well, the presumption is that some of these Indians intermarried with some of these colonists and migrated into this area.
Are the Lumbee Indians really descendants of the lost colonists? At one time, they were in fact known as the Croatan Indians. Another mystery, the Lumbee's past as murky as the river. The pain.
So they didn't even bring up Sir Francis Drake. This is 1997. They didn't even bring it up. So I wonder why they pushing it now. And they ain't really show no documents. They just saying it. I don't know if they trying to make a rush because Virginia said 1619 and everybody trying to say, no, it was us. But they ain't showing the primary for it though. They just said they feel like it.
Of the past. There are dark chapters in Lumbee history. It's recent history, a time in the 1980s when order began to unravel.
There had been a series of unsolved murders.
The shooting of Lumbee Indian Jimmy Cummings set people off.
It was a time of some tension.
Once again, an Indian is shot and killed by a Robinson County Sheriff's deputy.
We had gotten to a critical mass.
We're not laying the blame on any one person or any two persons. We're blaming it on a system.
It was a tense time. There's no doubt about it.
And things got worse. Robinson County actually captured worldwide headlines. In the winter of 1988, the local newspaper, the Robinsonian, suddenly became the news.
February the 1st, 1988, about 10 a.m.
Bob Horn was the Robinsonian's editor.
Somebody came in and burst into my office and said there's a holdup up front. I saw fear that day that in people's faces that I've never seen before.
10-4-year backup.
Police in Lumberton needed plenty of backup today as they surrounded the local newspaper building. They found out there was no holdup. Instead, 17 people had been taken hostage inside the Robinsonian.
The other guy pulled out a gun. It looked like a pump shotgun, sawed-off shotgun.
Eddie Hatcher is real hyper. I knew him as a local Indian activist. He was shouting and screaming. He was sweating profusely. He would walk over and lay his head down on a safe for a few seconds. And late in the morning, or maybe about 11 o'clock, he's telling us we need to get the governor on the phone by noon. Even if the governor had been calling, he couldn't have gotten through because all the lines were tied up.
Eddie Hatcher.
Eddie, this is Charlie Gaddy. How are you?
Well, it's a tense situation, and it's getting more tense by the hour. That dark's coming, and I'm afraid that they're going to make an unwise move. We have doors barricaded. At sunset, if necessary, we'll cut all lights. So if any shots are fired in here, no one will know who's getting shot. But once the shots start, then it goes full blast.
We were not observers in this event. We were participants, unwilling participants, but we were participants.
Demanding racial justice in Robinson County.
They don't feel like the law enforcement in this county can be trusted.
Demand that the governor of North Carolina immediately initiate an investigation into the corrupt Robinson County government.
How much, if any of it was real, or how much was his own paranoia, I have no idea.
They threw their weapons out the back door of the Robinsonian newspaper office. They released their last hostages and then gave themselves up.
I'm just tickled to death it's over and no one was harmed.
Sometimes I think that you have to have confrontation before you can really get progress. I feel like there is progress there now. At the same time, I don't agree with what they did or how they did it. Although, I do think that it was a part of something good.
Eddie Hatcher and Tim Jacobs both went to prison on kidnapping charges. The state investigated the claims of government corruption, but in the end found no evidence. Much has changed since then. Today, Robinson County's sheriff is a Lumbee Indian.
Car 1 to Robinson.
Glenn Maynard.
28 when you're ready.
The first Native American ever elected sheriff in Robinson County.
it's harder for a Native American to be sheriff than anybody else in this county, because the microscope is pretty well on me at all times, and people expect more of me. The turmoil is not in our county anymore the way it was at one time. And I mean, there were tension in this county on top of tension, you know. It's just everything's positive now. I get emotional when I talk a lot of times because I'm a Christian. I got another philosophy, you know, the biggest mistake that we can make in life is to forget where we come from. You know, a lot of times I ride along and just look up and say, thank you, Jesus, you know, for everything. Because good always outweighs evil. As low and as bad as things get some days, that tomorrow is going to be a better day. And it's been happening, you know. It's been happening.
People just change, you know. Don't look like they don't much care no more.
A diagnosis doesn't define you. Even ATTR cardiac amyloidosis. You've come along.
If everybody could pull together, you know, it would be fine. I guess different races have problems, you know, with one another. I'm just, you know, proud to be, you know, what I am. Yeah.
The spirit of the Native American as resilient, and this sort of American spirit of the pioneer, the person who survives, the person who endures and goes ahead. It's a person who.
So, man, what y'all think about that picture right there? Think about that picture right there.
Endures and goes ahead. In 1958, the Klan decided that it needed to come to Robeson County and put things, quote, right. You know, come to the big rally. Lumbee's heard about it. Some number of Lumbee men went to the rally. Apparently there was a scuffle, some firing of shots, fisticuffs, and so apparently the Klan left. It is a signpost along the way, a signpost that reads, tread lightly here. We're serious. We know who we are. We're a community. We're proud.
I'm glad I'm what I am. Well, I'd rather be that than anything else. Don't you think so?
Isaiah Locklear, 98 years old.
I come up with the ox and cart days. Open house, just weatherboarding. Of course, at that time we were eating out of the kitchen. And you know what we're doing now? Eating out of paper sacks and tin cans. That's facts now. You know, I know what I'm talking. Improved? What you talking? The Indian folks has made great progress in my day. I'm just trying to show you the progress. But I've had a good life. You believe that? Yeah.
It's just a heartbeat.
Reggie Brewer is a teacher.
This is what we use to survive. We survive through this drum.
Teaching the drum.
Everything revolves in a circle. That's why that drum is a circle. It's something that's in me that I can never get away from. We're here, we're in this.
The land that we have here it's beautiful. It's a beautiful land.
Western North Carolina, home to the eastern band of the Cherokee Indians.
I sell Indian merchandise and moccasins. Typical day, we're wide open.
It's commercialism. That's what it is. Pretty soon they become just like us.
A trail of tourists, 2 million a year. They come to Cherokee for the Indian experience. But do they get it?
I don't understand your question. If you're wanting to find somebody living in a teepee, no, I don't think so. You won't find a true Cherokee. Nobody lives in a Stone Age anymore.
And the tourists want to see that. They want to see an Indian with feathers That's what they get.
I've been right here for 39 years.
Chief Lightfoot, full-blooded Cherokee.
Half-breeds. There's a lot of half-breeds around here. And $3 for one snap. Those little bit of snapshots. And ain't got red shit.
I would venture to say if you came into town and you left here without a pair of moccasins, that you really didn't get the experience.
They want to see teepees. That's what they get. It's not accurate. No.
We compromised our culture 50 years ago.
Lumbees drive cars and trucks. You know, they wear blue jeans and three-piece suits. They might not conform to somebody's movie notion of what an Indian ought to be, but in every other sense of the word, they do. Nobody ever asks white people, are you full-blooded white?
Dr. Stanley Nick, a white man in an Indian world. Nick runs the Native American Resource Center at UNC Pembroke.
You know, nobody ever says, are you full-blooded black? Are you full-blooded white? And that's ironic, considering that, after all, they were here first. Throughout the government's policy, there have been two rules. Whatever you do, act like you're the daddy and the Indians are the children. Rule number 2, always be inconsistent.
Great brands, great prices. Nordstrom Rack's got the gifts everyone wants. Up to
Never do the same thing twice. Always change the rules. Every 10 years, make a new policy, do something different. Move the goal to the daddy and the Indians are the children. Rule number 2, always be inconsistent. Never do the same thing twice. Always change the rules. Every 10 years, make a new policy, do something different. Move the goalposts. Move it over here, move it over there. This is the way the government has played the game with Indians. The government's notion of who the Indians are is such a narrow vision. It is such a stereotype that it's no wonder that some people don't seem to fit that package. The problem is the stereotype more than who the real Indians are. They are living a traditional culture. People with a sense of history, people with a sense of pride, people with a very strong sense of family and religion. That's what I see.
I feel very close to God here. I see him in the trees. I see him swimming in the dark waters here. It is a symbol of hope. The God who created the sky and this black water created the Indian people too. We know who we are. We have always known who we are.
In many ways, the Lumbees are like a river people cross every day, but never stop to look at. They blend in unnoticed, no longer recognized for who they are. Will the Lumbees ever be fully recognized, federally recognized? Congress is debating it again. Their future is unknown, dark and mysterious, like the river that gives them their name. Lumbee, people of the dark water.
It's our identity, who we are as a people. And it's a good spirit here. A lot of people died for this place, and it's a real strong feeling. So the fight goes on. It's just a love for who I am.
So the reason that I was bringing that up is because my last live that I had showed was some historians and some people doing the genealogy and anthropologists of the Lumbee, and also Dr. Smallwood from North Carolina was talking about, the reason that the Black Indians been in that area since going back, they saying back before 1619, is because of Sir Francis Drake. But there, right there, was in 1997. I guess a little news documentary where they never did bring up Sir Francis Drake. But they bringing it up now. And another thing that I want to bring to the story right before the Sir Francis Drake get down is that you got Verrazano within that same area in 1524, we're gonna go right here. Like they dark like the Ethiopians. You know what I'm saying? So that's 1524. But for them to say, no, the reason that it's black people in America is because of Sir Francis Drake in 1586. Shout out to I Chose Better getting that cheddar, engine number 9. Engine number 9, getting that. I don't know what it's say. Engine number 9 with the platinum 9. We got Robert Lee Ford coming through. He never been. Yo. Man, that was crazy. Robert Lee Ford never been bored. We got the little terror. Never been an error. What it do? So like I say, they say dark like the Ethiopians, but they trying to say that the reason that it's black Indians within this area is because of Sir Francis Drake. That's what the historians, that's what they saying, that's what that's what the output is now. But it wasn't that in the 90s. It wasn't that before, and I'm just wondering, why is the history changing? And it's like I'm gonna keep pointing out the Indies. Yeah, man, it's like I was telling you about the Tuscaroras. It's like I showed you that they said that the Tuscaroras was from up north, but they was coming down, mixing and mingling a lot though. But like I say, man, let me go on and let this read out. And make sure that you're pulled up and rolled up. I'm so glad that you showed up to comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and do it again. Hold on, no, that's goofy. Why the hell that shit? I don't know what crazy.
The disappearance of 115 Elizabethans on the coast of North Carolina in the 1580s is a well-known mystery. Even more enigmatic, however, is the fate of another group that may have vanished on Roanoke Island a year before the lost colonists attempted to found England's first outpost in the Americas.
But in 1997, they weren't talking about this. In 1997, they wasn't talking about this. But I wonder, just like I said, man, I'm gonna let it play out. It's all good, man. Make sure that you're pulled up and rolled up, man.
These unwitting settlers, a mix of enslaved North Africans, West Africans, and South Americans, may have arrived more than 3 decades before the first enslaved Africans are recorded appearing at Jamestown 399 years ago this month. Their strange story, as traced by renowned University of Liverpool historian David Beers Quinn over the course of his esteemed career, suggests that enslaved Africans were expected from the very start to play a key role in the English colonization of the Americas. The tale begins with pirates in the Caribbean. In 1585, the English privateer Francis Drake assembled a fleet called the Great Expedition to loot and pillage Spanish colonial towns. Drake, the first captain to circumnavigate the globe, attacked the wealthy port of Cartagena on what is now the coast of Colombia. Wheat, silver, and enslaved laborers were among the commodities that made the city a rich prize.
So some of the key things, we got a strange story. We also got him suggesting. We also have this as a tale. And it's like I say, we have listened to, some of the professors, and just like I say, this ain't shitting on no professors or nobody that done, it's just that I disagree with their angle that they coming at this. But now they saying North Africans, West Africans, South Americans. But I can't remember who I was arguing with somebody, and they just kept telling me that it was nothing but man that they brought over here, not women, which we're going to find out that it was women, but they was arguing hard, said it was all men.
English warships confronted a forbidding stone fort bristling with cannons and fronted by war galleys rowed by enslaved Ottoman Turks and North African Muslims, or Moors. Stakes dipped in poison by indigenous allies of the Spanish protected the landward side. Drake's overwhelming force of veteran soldiers quickly routed the untested defenders. The invaders looted mansions and gold-bedecked churches before methodically burning portions of the city until the Spanish citizens agreed to pay a ransom to make them stop. When the English finally departed in the spring of 1586, they took with them the cathedral's massive bronze church along with most of the slaves and many of the convicts from the galleys and some of the Negroes belonging to private owners, according to a Spanish report studied by Quinn. A Spaniard taken captive by the English and later released on Cuba told authorities there that Drake also took 300 Indians from Cartagena, mostly women, as well as 200 Negroes, Turks and Moors, who do menial service. Sailing east, Drake's convoy inexplicably missed Havana, the most important Spanish port in the Caribbean. But a persistent legend maintains that the ships crowded with people from 3 continents were struck by scurvy and dysentery until South American indigenous women went ashore on Cuba to obtain rum, limes, and mint to make a soothing remedy, today known as the mojito.
Okay, so I'm still looking for this Spanish report. And it's funny how it cut down to just 200 Negroes now. Now it's 300 Indians. And you never hear about the Indians from Cartagena being put in that area. They never talked about no Indians being dropped off over there and added to the Indian population during that time. But now And they saying mostly women. So they saying there's some pirates that ran around the world. Matter of fact, was the first to go around the world as far as the English, ransacking, doing all type of devilish deeds, and saying that he dropped off the women. He dropped off the work. Can you believe that? He dropped off the work and the workers. Can you believe that? I don't believe that. I'm saying that the people was already hearing that this is another excuse of why they trying to say that black people, black Indians was already over here when they done found the people over here. And another thing, hold on. No, that was it.
Drake then set sail for Roanoke Island, on the North Carolina coast, where some 100 men had landed the previous year in an effort organized by his friend Sir Walter Raleigh. On the way, the fleet stopped at Florida's St. Augustine, a city founded 2 decades prior by the Spanish to provide a refuge for shipwreck victims and to discourage other Europeans from settling the southeast coast. The outpost threatened the English colonization effort, so Drake set the place ablaze, but not before stripping the 250 houses of their locks and other valuable hardware that could be useful on Roanoke. A Spanish dispatch from Havana based on intelligence provided by 3 Africans left behind in St. Augustine's smoldering ruins said Drake meant to leave all the Negroes he had in a fort and settlement established at Roanoke by the English who went there a year ago. He intended to leave the 250 blacks and all his small craft there, and cross to England with only the larger vessels.
Now it's 250 blacks. Now it's 250 blacks. Before that, there was 200 Negroes. And I guess they kept the women. So what happened to the 300? Saying that a Spanish captive had told him this. I definitely want to see the parentheses. I definitely want to see that. They also put the parentheses right here. But where's the primary? Where's the primary? I'll keep it lit though.
According to New York University historian Karen Kupperman, Drake thought he was going to find a flourishing colony, so he brought along some slave labor to help. But when the fleet anchored off the outer banks of North Carolina, he found the Roanoke settlers in dire straits. They were short on food, and had incurred the wrath of the Carolina Algonquian-speaking people by assassinating their leader, Wingina. Drake agreed to provide desperately needed supplies and reinforcements, and, presumably, slave labor. But a sudden and ferocious storm of thunder and rain, with hailstones as big as hens' eggs, according to one eyewitness, scattered his fleet. Once reassembled, the colonists begged instead to be taken home to England. Drake agreed, and the settlers boarded the ships and returned to England.
Yeah. Wait, that's wicked.
What happened to the scores or hundreds of Africans and South Americans, however, is a puzzle. Historians know that Elizabeth I repatriated about 100 Turks in an effort to curry favor with the Ottoman Sultan, an enemy of her enemy, Spain, but only 3 West Africans are recorded to have arrived in England on the fleet. One then fled to Paris to find refuge with the Spanish ambassador. Quinn, the dean of Roanoke Scholars, wrote in his 1974 book England and the Discovery of America that the only reasonable explanation is that a considerable number of Indians and Negroes were put ashore on the Carolina Outer Banks and equipped with the pots and pans, locks and bolts, boats and launches of St. Augustine.
So I find it interesting. None of this is in parentheses. So we got the 100. They saying 100 Turks. Now it's Turks. They don't know what happened to the other hundreds of Africans and South Americans. They don't know what happened to them. It's a puzzle. Hold on, let me go back up. I think I've seen something say something that it was a puzzle. Yeah, it's a puzzle. Throwing paint on the wall. Now it's only 3 West Africans. You know what I'm saying? Now it's only 3 West Africans out of the 700. First it was 700. Now it done cut down to 250. Now done cut it down to 200. Now it's only 3. And said that they dropped him off, a pirate, a cutthroat. That's about his bread. Dropped him off with pots, pans, locks, boats, and boats. And never went back, but he ended up going back to die down in Panama. But he never went back to this area where he had the whole United States, had the whole land. He had workers, he had women. He never went back there. Come on now. Come on, Robert Lee Ford. You can't be that crazy. You can't be that crazy. You can't believe everything they say. And now that's wicked.
Other historians, however, contend that the Africans and South Americans likely drowned in the storm or were sold on the route to England. Why would Drake leave the equivalent of gold bullion on the Carolina coast? Larry Tice, an East Carolina University historian, told Smithsonian.com. Enslaved laborers were valuable trade items at the time, but there was no market for them in Tudor England, and no record exists of deaths in the Outer Banks storm. The facts, Quinn conceded in a 1982 article on the mystery, may now never be known. Scholars agree, however, that what is most striking about the incident is its obscurity. The saddest part of the story, and perhaps the most revealing, is that no one bothered to say what happened to these enslaved people, noted historian Edmund Morgan in his 1975 American Slavery, American Freedom.
Now they saying that they likely drowned. Now they drowned or were sold en route to England. $1 billion left on the coast with pots and pans. He was intended to leaving them older. That's what one of the people said down there that got dropped off. But they drowned. Now they saying, they integrated. with all the indigenous people, and that's what make the Lumbees and the Tuscaroras. That's why it's black Indians there that's blacker than the people from Africa. Come on, man, stop it, man. It's getting ridiculous. Then they gonna say the craziest shit down. They gonna just put it in your face. Oh, they gonna put it right in your face at the end. Hold on. Oh, they gonna put it right in your face. Oh yeah, they cut though. Oh yeah, they still cut though. But they just got a suit and tie on though. Talk real proper.
Nor has there much subsequent interest in this other potential lost colony. A year after Drake's fleet departed from Roanoke, 115 men, women, and children arrived in the second attempt to establish an English base in the New World. War with Spain severed their links to Europe, and their fate remains the stuff of legend. People have been fixated on the 1587 colonists rather than the vanished slaves, said Kupperman. It's obscure because, until the last 30 years, nobody cared about lost Africans and Indians. Quinn died in 2002, but Kupperman and Tice hope that future archival or archaeological finds could provide new insight into Drake's passengers. The results could rewrite our understanding of the role of enslaved Africans in early English settlements, long presumed to have arrived at Jamestown in 1619 to cultivate tobacco.
Now it's about rewriting our understanding. Nigga said straight finna to rewrite this shit. Say we never cared about blacks and Indians, so-called. This was the stuff that made them very wealthy, made them the wealthiest country during this time. It's because they was enslaving people. But nah, they ain't worried about these people right here. These right here, good people that get dropped off, and they the reason why it's black Indians in America, and they done integrated. You know what I'm saying? They done fucked on the native sisters and aunties, and everything is all good. Matter of fact, Robert Lee Ford told me that it's a story and about a snake, and there was some Indians that was playing with a snake, and that's supposed to be the black man. Niggas saying crazy. Niggas in Carolina crazy in the motherfucker, man. Niggas in Carolina, man. You can't go out like that, Robert Lee. They definitely trying to change the history, but I'm bringing the history to you before they flip the game. I'm gonna let you see the playbook. I'm gonna let you see the playbook. And we still looking for the primaries because they just keep coming up with excuses of why it's black people within this area, just like I showed you right before this in the 1524s, because that was 18. That was 1586. This is 1524, and they already blacker than the damn Ethiopians. But they asking this question. And then on top of that, they saying certain people can't be labeled as Indians as far as we recognize federally. And they got documents going back before the 1900s, but they done changed the game up and saying now, well, as long as you got relatives showing in the 1900s, then it's all good. Some people got stuff going back to 1600s. But because it didn't say Indian on there, or because they was mislabeled by some people that just came over here, they running with it. They running with it. And that's definitely the show for the night at 1:30. That's right on time. I was gonna drop the link, man, but it's too late to be arguing with niggas. But I just wanted to drop the game off. Definitely go back and check it out at your leisure. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Definitely long live my Aunt Joycey. That's a fact, man. Just passed today. The oldest Abraham in the gang. Well, now I met my grandpa's older sister. And got a chance to talk to her on Mother's Day. And she was giving me some good game on the family history as far as, you know, she was growing up back then. And, you know, hanging with her grandma and her aunties and uncles and, you know, just growing up in Sasakwa in the dirt roads. Long live Aunt Joycey, though, that's a fact. Long live Aunt Joycey, man. Tough day. Kinda just got the news. Long live Aunt Joycey, man. It's crazy. Never did get a chance to talk to her too much. But you know, she always been down, holding it down for a long time. Long live my cousin Kim, her daughter, and my cousin Marshetta that passed, the other daughter. That's crazy, man. But I'm definitely glad that you slid through. Oh yeah, another thing I want to put out there in the game, and I'ma always put this out there in the game when I put that Sir Francis Drake out there in the game, is is to go to this book right here. Go read that. You don't say nothing about him dropping off nobody. But it do got him encountering black people, and they call them Cimarroons. And they saying they been here when you do the timetables. Many chiefs, they super deep, thousands. Specialists and building the houses over there, speaking the native language. Come on, man. And it also talk about him going to Roanoke. We don't talk about none of that dropping off. None of that. Matter of fact, I just showed last night within. Matter of fact, let me show it again. Hold on. No, I don't know what page this is, but whenever you come to it, it's gonna say Drake desired Pedro and 3 of the chief Cimarroons go aboard his 2 frigates and take what they like. So it were not absolutely necessary for their voyage to England. Over with. So then what they gonna say? Oh no, they never cared about no Negroes, so they ain't gonna never bring it up, but they bringing it up now. Go look at all them Sir Francis Drake old black and white movies. Matter of fact, I think I might play one of them black and white movies, Sir Francis Drake, one night. If they ain't do no copyright shit. Ain't no dropping off nothing. How would that not be a great story to tell? Dropping off $1 billion. Come on now. Crazy. Go check that out. Just like I say, man, I appreciate everybody tapping in for the late night build. Keep looking for yourself in the story. You know what I'm saying? Keep looking for those documentations. Keep doing those petitions, litigations. It was something else. Conjures. Keep trying to, if you feel like you from here, you know what I'm saying? Just for my folks that feel like they from here. If you feel like you ain't really from here, this ain't really for you. These bills ain't really for you. Just for the folks. Gonna keep fighting. Grow up. I'm so glad that you showed up with comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and do it again.
Hustle so ill, hustle dope. Nigga, fuck a wife, all my life I so dope. The projects, baby. 24 stacking dope, pushing coke, baby. Come on, baby. Ride with the hustler, young Blue Jane from the LOB, crazy. Your shit handhold, we gon' get bread though. And swang all day. Hustlers call me hoes call me hustler, ayy. No iceberg or Coogee, we fresh and gas. Me and Mac came through sporting troops while we scoop in a suit that'll make you sweat. I'm stupid deaf, jamming on the west, slamming bullets in your chest. We black wave niggas slam dancing in the jacks. I count my coke profits when I think about set, girl. I know your coochie wet, but I just wanna get sucked, yo. We burning rubber right now, cause we out. Dog is so tight, you wish you had one, but you gotta sell more coke so you can have one. We out, we have fun. All I wanna do is hustle with my crew. We can get this paper, baby. We can live life lovely. Cause I love. We can make it lovely. I'll probably slide through without a necklace. I'll probably slide through without nothing on my wrist. I'm a fresh kid, I don't need none of that stuff, cause I'm dope. I'm so dope. Slide through zest ways, my nigga sheep for old. Explaining the best way, I'm pure stupid silly. 100% the kind that'll pop you with the fully. 100% the kind every queen loves. Hustler, pulling 24s every day. Hustler, hog, and player P is what a nigga gotta be. Or get the fuck around me. Hey, tell him again, me after. Tell him again, I'm hustler, hustler. Hey, I'm fresh. I'm so fresh. She wanna be my girlfriend, but I don't wanna kiss. I'd rather burn rubber in my shit and swing gates. Let the boys, nigga, we silly out the gate. Cause I'm so ill. Cause I'm so dope. What it's like to you. They're gonna take your life from you. You should say your prayers, man. Cause life with you ain't lovely. But I'ma still live lovely. I cried one time, my crime one time, slugs ripping, my cousin died. But no more tears from Hush, cause my heart's stone cold. I got years to be rich, I'm young and pretty. Come on, baby, you gotta give it to me. Look at me, huh? What the hell you mean? No choking, no drinking, just stacking some cheese. I'm like Muhammad Ali, and I'm 6'3", and I box and I knock suckers out swiftly. We stuck in this place, and all we ever could do was hustle in this place, but never go nowhere. Stack a couple of G's, flip lows, get told, get sucked by the hoes, buy clothes and dope kicks. My nigga died young, and all he ever could do was rap where he was from. His last breath was the one that blew the breeze through the hood. The money never stopped, nigga. It's thousands in the checks, nigga. It's G's in the hood. I think I like the rain, cause every time the tears drop, the rain will wash it away. My heart is numb to pain, I can't explain how I feel. Imagine seeing life the way it really is, the real. It's different what you see. All I wanna do is hustle with my crew. We can get this paper, baby. We can live life lovely. Cause I